Good morning, gardening friends. Today is Sunday, May 5th. It's about 7:30 in the morning, and it's going to be a beautifully sunny day today. I thought I would get out early and try to beat the mosquitoes. They are coming out. There's been a lot of changes in the garden this week, none of which were brought about by me. It's just that time of year when things are growing very quickly. I did notice last week that I saw my first hummingbird, and I went ahead and put my little hummingbird feeder out there and decided I was not going to buy the nectar anymore from the stores. So I looked on YouTube, and sure enough, I found a crazy lady in California that has millions of hummingbirds, and she attracts them with a very simple solution of 1 cup of water with a 1/4 cup of white sugar, plain old granulated sugar. So I put that in the bird feeder, and it appears to be disappearing. Roses have just about gone, at least the first flush, and of course I'll cut them back. Oh, before we go too far, my plumeria is starting to leaf out, as you can see. Hopefully it'll bloom again this week. And my caladiums are still coming up, although to be truthful, I think only 1 or 2 new sprouts have appeared since last week. And in this cluster, you can see just, well, I can see, you probably can't. There's only 2 over there that have come out. I did go ahead and take the chance of staking this papyrus. I still have nesting cardinals back here, and they're the ones that broke the papyrus, but as you can see, even though the tops were broken, they haven't died back, so I'm just leaving them. But if you straighten them up again, you might encourage the birds to come back. Also, behind the hummingbird feeder, I noticed my coir mat is looking a little ratty, and I found out why. Those same cardinals apparently like that for nesting material. That's a last year coir mat, and you can see at the bottom how it's coming apart. I saw 2 of them at different times, cardinals that is, tugging away at that mat, trying to rip little bundles out. And I think that's probably what they were doing with this papyrus, was trying to get the soft tops of it. No telling. I'm not bird-brained. Here you can see the iachroma cutting from last year is doing well. And here's where I put the 3 marigolds, or tagetes. I had dug up seedlings from out in the yard, but apparently they've been eaten. So slugs must be getting in there. So those white pebbles you see in there are slug bait. They seem to be leaving everything else okay, or alone, but for some reason they liked the marigolds, so they made a beeline to the marigolds. This particular banana leaf is not long for this world. I'm going to wait till this stem develops a little bit more and then cut this one off. So bananas can be a thug. You can see here I've already cut one branch out. They like to shade out everything underneath them. And the one that snapped off a couple of weeks ago is pretty much back to normal. You'd never know that it had snapped off. And look at the size of these cycads. They have come back with a vengeance. I haven't really walked around the yard yet, so don't know for sure what's going on. Of course, I've got my fountains going. You can see the beginnings of my Nico Blue hydrangeas. Oh, here's one. Of course, that one was the one that was out last week. It has a lot of white in it. I don't know why. It's very acidic there, but for some reason it's a little more white than blue, at least right now. I still have loquats, although they're starting to wane. And the birds have discovered them, so they're starting to get holy from the birds. This begonia has done really well. This is the second year on this begonia. I had it on my deck. I did bring it in and protect it in the winter, but I stuck it here for lack of a better place, and it looks straggly, and it actually looks kind of nice right now, so not bad for 2 years out of one begonia. My statue of David is still here, and something has made a trail through there, through my monkey grass. Those trails were not there a couple of weeks ago. I did notice I live on top of a hill here in Alabama, and at the bottom of the hill is a lake. And in that lake last week, they found an alligator, a rather large one. So they're going to, right now they're leaving it in the lake and just posting signs. They think that it's eating turtles. And I'm thinking, yikes. I hope Godot is here and not there. Only time will tell. I still haven't seen him, although I have seen signs of him. You can see I don't know if you can see it or not. A little spider web up there in the tree. I do need to pick up this blueberry branch. It's getting heavy with blueberries, and when they're low like that, they attract any wildlife that may be in the yard, and then they'll realize that's a blueberry bush and start knocking the rest down to get at the berries. Best they be kept uninformed. This wandering dude has really taken over. I am going to have to clean it off of my other plants there. The mosquitoes are really swarming now. You can see I didn't cut out my crepe myrtle from last week. It'll be there next week, and I'll cut it out then. This whole area has really filled in nicely. I did notice that I have flowers forming already on the angel's trumpet. This is the white angel's trumpet that spent last year on my deck. I didn't realize it would like it as much over here because it's now in the shade of this pindo palm. Here you can see the alstroemeria is coming into its own, and my strawberries are still ripening. You do have to kind of pick them early because the birds see them as well. And I'll tell you one thing about homegrown strawberries. Is that a slug? No, that's a bit of strawberry where the birds got it first. Even a half green strawberry from your garden tastes better than any store-bought strawberry that you're going to get. I wish you could smell the lemon fragrance of this knockout rose. That is one of the few knockout roses that does have a fragrance. It's the lemon one, or the yellow one, I should say. My ligularia is doing well. It's not wilting. Ligularia is like a lot of water, and they'll let you know in the heat of the summer. Sometimes, even if they have plenty of water, they will absolutely go limp like a dish rag. My plumbago is coming back. Now this Nico blue is blued up nicely. It looks like I'm going to have quite a lot of flowers on my hydrangeas this year. I don't know what I did differently this year versus last year, but I will just enjoy it and not worry about it. Of course, the story back here is my Hemerocallis fulva, my daylilies. That will eventually spread throughout that entire bed, and I will let them. They're at the right height for still being able to read the sundial. Oh, and I see we have an unwanted guest here. Let's see if I can get to him or her. Yep, nope, we lost him. I'll squish him another day. Horse lubber. Gara, still doing fine. Surprisingly enough, my pansies are still there. I could clean them up, but the heat of the summer is going to pretty much kill them. So it's kind of like, why bother? But I probably will clean them up a little more. Oh, and you can see the beautiful, lovely birds have been here eating up my little succulent. But when you attract birds, you have to take the good with the bad. I do prefer the birds, although I love my plants. I did want to show you here, I took a cutting of that white angel's trumpet that's fixing to bloom. It'll be, this Tuesday will be 2 weeks. I took a cutting less than 2 weeks ago, stuck it in water, and as you can see, it's sending out all kinds of shoots, roots, and I will probably pot that up in another week. I'll let them get a little bit taller before I pot them up. I mean, the roots get a little longer. By the way, that jar, that plant is extremely poisonous, and I would not, I have a dedicated jar just for rooting angel's trumpets. I don't know if you can get the toxin out. I would probably put boiling water and Clorox if I wanted to use that jar again, but it's easy just to keep a dedicated one just for propagation. Here you can see my original Iochroma has grown from the undergrowth. I will have to nip this camellia up a little. Again, the birds. It's just the weight right now that's just kind of tugging it downward. The mandevilla is really doing nicely this year. And I still have an African iris. And there's more to come here on these stalks. I do like the look of this Virginia creeper. I do have to keep an eye on my lawn man though, because most people consider that a weed, and more than once he was tempted to yank that down. And it wouldn't be the end of the world, as you can see. There's more growing up from the base. My coleus are doing well here. They've really probably grown about 3 or 4 inches. I hear a cat. Oh, there's Stubby. I've got my door open to the backyard. Oh, he likes to get under my feet. That's not a good thing. Here you can see with this boxwood, somehow a violet got under it, and I'm just letting it stay. Okay, Stubby, now get out from under my feet. Yes, you're a pretty kitty. He keeps throwing himself down in front of me. Not a practical thing to do. Miss Mimi learned not to do that. She is sleeping under her quilt. She has learned when I start walking at night to meow if she's on the ground to make sure I don't step on her or kick her. I'm unsure enough on my feet, so she knows enough to get out of my way. Look at this cycad. I'd say it's probably doubled since last week. I did reorganize and revamp my front porch, and I will probably show you what it looks like next week. I watched a video on Biltmore conservatory and noticed they had coleus in there, and I thought, I winter my coleus over sometimes in there, so I decided to buy some coleus just for the front porch. Give it a little bit of color during the summer. These bananas are really doing well. I don't know if there's any new growth. Doesn't appear to be any down there. Oh, I think this car has been blessed by Stubby. I have to rinse my car off every now and then. We looked at some figs last week. This has really like doubled, the top has doubled in size since last year. Of course, this is only its second year. Yep, there are the figs down there yet. Not a lot, but they're large. And of course, the old adage is quite true. The first year, plants sleep. The second year, which this is, they creep. And the third year, they'll leap. It's just a matter of the roots getting established and them taking off. My crinum is still in bloom and still more coming. Oh, yes. My cassia. My cassia has returned. Yay. Not this, that's fungus. Back there is the cassia. So far, it looks like only one stem, but I will remain hopeful, but at least it lived. I can deal with one stem. I'll wait till it gets about 2 feet tall and then start trimming it to make it bushy. Miss Mimi does not like Stubby, probably because Stubby is overly friendly. And Miss Mimi, like Baby, can't be bothered. This cycad has really leafed out this week. It's going to cover over my arborvitae fern. This is the third year for that arborvitae fern, so you can see how much. That was only two ferns. That was 2 that I bought. And they have really spread. These other ferns, I don't know what they are. They were spread by the birds. There was one clump that formed in that corner, and I divided it up and put it here. They kind of spread like this. I did not plant them there, but they're growing. Back in here, my salvias are looking good. Oh, I did want to tell you one more thing. Don't pay no attention to the weeds down there. I will get them before they go to seed. I did notice my rattlesnake plant is in bloom. Here it is. Let's see, what's the name of that again? Stachys Floridana. Or Floridana, I think. And I noticed that that looks an awful lot like a salvia. And sure enough, it is in the same family, which is the mint family. The Iridaceae family, I believe it is. Don't quote me on that, it's in the mint family. In any event, it's called rattlesnake plant because it has a little tuber about the diameter of a number 2 pencil, and it might be 2 or 3 inches long, and they are edible. They're white, and they look like the tip of a rattlesnake's tail. They are related to, although they're not exactly the same, the Chinese artichoke. The Chinese artichoke looks just like the tuber of that weed, and it is edible. Yeah, there aren't that many things that have square stems like the salvias do. And of course, sage is in the same family, and mints, because it is the mint family. This has grown together quite thickly and nice in here. I have to admit, these were my first Encore azaleas that I ever bought, and my experience with them has been very good. I got them from Lowe's, and you won't hear this on any other channel because I'm unaffiliated with anyone. But Lowe's is a great place to buy plants to experiment with. You may pay a little bit more for them now, and the people working there may not be able to help you in terms of how the plants grow. But if you read the plant labels, you can learn a lot, and you can also Google them. And if you read plant labels out loud, you're about 90% of your way there to having your own YouTube channel. I notice people like to read the labels rather than do any real research. But be that as it may, Lowe's return policy is a 1-year warranty or guarantee on all of their perennials and trees. And I bought these 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, yep, 5. Got to look behind me. Encore azaleas, and planted them when I still used to go away for the summers. So they were planted, survived the heat of the summer with no one watering them, and they have lived. But I saved my receipts. What you need to get your money back from Lowe's is you need to save the receipt, and you need to bring them a plant. So if it gets eaten by slugs, you probably won't get your money back. However, if it's dead and you can bring it back, within 1 year you can get your money back. And here's the trick. Even annuals are covered. I did a little bit of research on that. And annuals, if they're not covered under the 1-year warranty, they're covered under the 90-day warranty. So if you save your receipt, now you may have to educate the people at Lowe's, but when they go to look it up, they will find that it's covered under the 90-day warranty if they die within 90 days, and you will get your money back. So don't be afraid to try plants. The only thing now is it's a little expensive if you get them from Lowe's. Now, if you go to your local nursery, I found that usually their prices are actually lower than Lowe's. You won't get the warranty. However, you'll get plants that are suited for your area, and you'll get knowledgeable people to help you. So it depends on what you're looking for. Both have their places. This is really looking nice and lush right now. And the potager is filling out nicely. So far, I have a sickly looking cucumber back there, soon to be covered by ginger, but the ginger hasn't sprouted yet. Oh my goodness, I have to come back here. Bunch of horse lubbers all over that. I killed a bunch of them yesterday. Dill, I'll have to cut the dill back, because once when it sprouts like that, it'll die. So if you cut it back, it'll make it linger a little bit longer. The sage has really taken off this year here. It's spreading nicely. I guess this is going to become just a garden of herbs eventually, which is fine. At least it'll still be useful. And I did notice my Opuntia cactus has gone crazy. Of course, it's been doing that. However, this week you kind of notice it more because the new pads have started sprouting. We had a pretty cold winter, so I don't know if... Oh, yes. Flower bud. Flower bud. Leaves. So I do see a few sprouts. Oh, there are 2 up there. Oh my goodness, and there's more here. Another sprout. Another sprout. A bunch of them. Oh my goodness. Of course, they haven't bloomed yet. It is still possible there might be a cold snap or something and knock them off, but I doubt it. Okay, Stubby. They don't get caught up in my feet. But there you have it for today. It is a beautiful day to get out there and enjoy your garden. To heck with working in it. Go out there and sit in it and enjoy it. Otherwise, what's the sense of having a garden? Isn't that right, Stubby? Yeah? Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.